to Jake and Fulton coming to you on a Thursday. Thank you so much for joining us for a very brief edition of Mic'd Up.
Very brief.
Very brief. We've got Royals baseball coming up at the bottom of the hour. 12:30 pregame coverage. 1:10 first pitch. Mr. Lyles going up against Mr. Gosman. But honestly, I don't want to talk about that right now because the Royals stink. Let's talk about something fun. Let's talk about the azaleas blooming in Augusta, Georgia. Birdies and eagles happening all over the course. Not the animal, the score. Victor Hovland out early, 5 under par. John Rahm 4-putted hole number 1. Bounced back. He's now in second at 3 under. An eagle at 8. Tiger Woods off to a rocky start, but a birdie at the par 5 at 8. Got his first birdie of the day. Local product, Gary Woodland. Even after 4 holes. The weather is beautiful right now at Augusta. The leader is Scott Stallings. Shane Lowry at 2 under par. A couple live players playing very, very well. Brooks Koepka at 2 under. And of course, Thursday at Augusta means one thing. That Boom Boom plays well. And that is Fred Couples, ladies and gentlemen. Fred Couples 1 under par through 16. Defending champ Scotty Scheffler teeing off a little bit later. All at Augusta National. Where at least we have fun watching the
True.
Masters.
This is true.
We enjoy the Masters.
It's a good time.
Unlike Royals baseball.
Yeah, those losers.
Unlike Royals baseball.
That's what you call a good turn in the biz.
Royals lost yesterday.
Yeah.
I want to go all, Harry Doyle here. Where at the end of the broadcast on Major League, one hit, and then, his side buddy, Marty, I think.
But you can't say that on the air.
Don't worry, nobody's listening. They had 2 hits. They didn't walk 4 times.
Yeah. That's 6 base runners.
They mustered 2 hits.
7 base runners.
They mustered 2 hits.
Yeah.
Zach Greinke, I'm gonna give you a standing O, man, because Greinke went 6 innings, allowed 1 run.
And let's be brutally honest. He should have allowed 0 runs. Looking at you, Bob. Looking at you.
4 Ks, gave the team a chance to win.
Yeah. Just couldn't do it.
They had 2 hits. So, through 6 games, here's my big question that I have right now involving the Royals.
Mm-hmm.
How bad is Jose Barrios? Buddy, you might have to just call it a year. You might just have to call it. Like, look, everybody else, the Royals can't score against everybody else unless your name is Jose Barrios. It's like one thing is not like the other.
Yeah.
This is me deflecting about it being someone other than the Royals right now. This is me,
trying to find somebody else to pick on.
Yes, and
that's fair.
And it's Jose Barrios.
Yeah, part of that is, Jose Barrios legitimately is completely turned into a pumpkin. Which I find it. I was going to find it funny for Toronto. They traded for Barrios. He was fine when he got there, but wasn't great. And then Toronto's paying him a lot of money. And then he has looked horrible since being a Toronto Blue Jay. But yeah, like, it's weird that that's the only day the Royals offense has looked, good at all.
Not even good, like, alive.
And the thing is, they should have looked that way against Yusei Kikuchi. not doing that against him is legitimately probably the only other time that I've been really massively frustrated.
Manoah's
because
dominated the Royals in the past.
And that's why, like, you look at the Twins series, and, like, yes, it was annoying that they got swept and the offense was bad. Pablo Lopez was in another gear in that first start. He's so good. Sonny Gray is a really good veteran who's always handled the Royals well. Joe Ryan's one of the better young pitchers in the game and is incredibly underrated. Like, struggling against those three, you don't want to see it. I'm not trying to make an excuse, but it's understandable because you're still facing really good arms. And that Twins bullpen is better than you would think. Now, Miami's, being able to do some things to them. But, Jose Barrios, a guy you should beat up on, given career numbers and who he is. And they did. Yusei Kikuchi, that is the first. Did you know that is Yusei Kikuchi's first win when he's been on the bump, period? Like, not even winning decision. First winning time he's been on the bump ever against the Royals since his first ever start against them. That was his first win ever against Kansas City. They had beaten the snot out of him every other time. That's the one I'm most upset about at this moment in time. Because Manoah, listen, that is what it is. Alek Manoah is one of the best young pitchers in the game right now. Like, you are going to struggle. Now, he gave you that many walks. I would have liked you to cash in on him not having his best stuff. But it is what it is with Alek Manoah. He's so very good. I am very frustrated they looked that hapless against Yusei Kikuchi. And I get it. It's early season. This is before he starts to break down a little bit. The Royals have faced him later in the year most other times, so they faced him a little bit more wear and tear on the year. I don't care. There is traditionally not anything he does incredibly well. And that game is the number one that I go to, what's going on here? Because every other game I can go to, yes, it was annoying, but they faced really good pitching. I cannot make that justification for the Tuesday game. Or the whatever day it was.
I can justify that with Lopez, and I can justify that with Manoah, even though Manoah was terrible his first start.
Yeah, and honestly, he did not have his best stuff last night. He did not. That was a beatable version of Alek Manoah.
And that's a problem.
Yes, it incredibly is.
And that's, like the Twins. The Twins just lost the series to the Marlins. They lost 1-0 and then 5-2.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it already, and it's 6 games. And this is my thing about the Royals.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. We were not expecting them to be awesome.
No.
I wasn't. If this happens in July, where they go 1-5 and the offense looks like this, nobody bats an eye. If it happens in June, nobody bats an eye. It doesn't matter. The problem is that it's 6 games, and in 5 of them, well, 4 of them for sure, because they did, score 4 runs and a loss.
Yeah.
So
the pitching broke down a little bit there, but they did score 4 runs and a loss.
Yeah. So
the fact of the matter is they've been shut out 3 times this year.
And they've
been in 6 games.
And the other
That's
game.
The fact of the matter.
The other game they didn't even they scored 4 runs, but it was kind of like when the Chiefs are up by 17 and the Browns scored a touchdown late to cut it to 10. The Royals, it wasn't really a thing. And that's the thing that I'm frustrating is, and you're already seeing it, is I got a text from a friend of mine who's a sports fan. He's a KU fan. He likes the Dallas Cowboys. No, this is not Bradley J, because I would say Bradley J's name. And he'll go, to a Royals game here or there, and he just sent me a text and go, "Are the Royals this bad?" Like, it's already started, and that's the reason why. And it is a small sample size,
incredibly small,
but that's not that is looking at the big picture. I want to look at right now reality, and reality is that everyone right now looks at the Royals, if you can watch them, and just it's apathy already. It's 6 games in, and it's apathy, and that is what sucks.
It's disappointing.
It really, really is. It's 7 years now. And I don't want to say 7. That's wrong. Because 16 and 17, they were competitive.
Yeah, they put up a good fight in those years.
And they did. They were 81 and 81, won 80 games in 17. It's been 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. This is now the 6th year of just same old Royals. And that's what's so bummed. And now John Sherman is trying to go, and this doubles it up to me. It really does. Not for me personally, because we live here in Topeka. But if I'm a Royals fan and I live in Jackson County, and you're wanting me to pay $1 billion for your crappy baseball team right now, like, I get it. I do.
Yeah.
You're trying to ask for $1 billion while your team hasn't been even remotely competitive in the last 5 years. And I understand John Sherman. I have no problem with the, downtown stadium, all of that. I do kind of have a problem with asking for $1 billion. But overall, he's been a good owner so far. He has. This is just a real bad timing when you're asking for $1 billion and your team is dead last in every offensive category, it seems like.
Yeah, like it's difficult. And in the small sample size we have, there's no other way to sugarcoat it. The offense is trash right now. Like, they can't buy consistency. And there are things, like underlying things, that make you think eventually they should, and I'm going to heavily lean on the word should, not will, should bust out of this funk. But the fact that, like, I talked to this last night. With no one on base, the problem is hits aren't falling. Like, with nobody on, that's the current problem. We're watching guys smoke balls left and right, and they just cannot get down. That will even out. My bigger problem is this. When they get runners on, approach goes out the window. And it's a correctable issue. But because everyone else is telling me, they can't buy hits in general. No. The more thing that everyone should be fixating on, in my opinion, more importantly, is simply what happens to them as hitters, period, when they get a runner on base. Like, you got guys making really poor decisions and not performing at any level when there's a runner on. And I think that's the bigger issue right now. Because if you look at their base runner numbers, outside of a couple games, they've really not struggled putting guys on the base paths. It's been getting him in. And, last night they went 0 for 4 runs in scoring position. Both Bobby and MJ went 0 for 2. And watching it was indicative of the problem. Like, Bobby steps up to a plate in a golden opportunity to try and drive in a run. First pitch pop out into foul territory. Like, and it was the pitch he probably really shouldn't have swung at. It's really up. It's up and riding in on him. He could probably have waited on first pitch of the AB to look for something more drivable. But he swung, and I don't think he should have. And you get an out. Now, it was also an out on a pop of foul territory that ticked off Vladimir Guerrero Jr.'s glove into Kevin Biggio's glove, which is a level of incredible luck that's very annoying. And then you get MJ to come up, and MJ strikes out on a fastball out of the zone that he of all people, with his best trait being his eye, knows not to chase. And that, to me, is the microcosm of their biggest problem right now, is they can find a way, like, even though they only had 2 hits, and that part is frustrating. They did have 4 walks and hit by pitch. They did find ways to put guys on. It's just, good Lord, when someone gets on base, these guys, I don't know what it is, their approach goes out the window. And it is something I feel is correctable because they're doing so well in other situations. But to me, that's the biggest issue right now, is that when they get the rare opportunity to get guys in, and they're in good situations, their approach just goes flying somewhere south for the winter.
That was, what is it, opening day?
Opening day, you had bases loaded for MJ Melendez, and, like, I get Pablo Lopez is a nice changeup. He's swinging at a pitch that's on the dirt in the other batter's box. He knows not to do that. He chases it. He lines into 2 double plays that just were on pitches he shouldn't have swung at. Like, guys, when someone's on, none of them look like they're making proper approaches right now. That to me is the more concerning part of this entire offensive problem. But yeah, like, I think it is still too early to say for 162 games, the Royals will be absolutely horrendous. It's been 6 games. But I will say, in this sample size, the correct way to describe this team offensively is an absolute dumpster fire.
Yeah. And the...
Because they can't get runs in.
The generic fan, they don't care about small sample size.
Yeah, no, they don't. That's correct.
They don't, and that's the reality right now. Yeah. That's the perception is, oh, great. The Royals are 1-5. Yeah. Oh, you know what we call that in the biz?
Losers.
A Tuesday. Yeah. Like, that's what they are. The Royals are a Tuesday. Yeah. They do what they always do. Yeah. You know, the Royals right now are the... I'm trying to, like, I was going to say previous to this year, they were the Sacramento Kings.
Yeah, honestly. And then the Kings turned around. The Kings are great this year. The Kings won the division.
They won the
Pacific.
They won
Good for the Kings.
The Kings won the division. That's who the Royals were. They were the Kings. Yeah. Coming up next, we'll wrap things up with the mic drop because we got Royals baseball coming up at the bottom of the hour. We're wrapping things up on a very short edition of Mic'd Up. The ageless wonder, Freddie Couples, now 2 under and in the fairway on hole 18. The ageless wonder. Phil made a birdie. He made a birdie from the pine straw.
Good for Phil.
So Phil's making birdies. Hovland 6 under through 11. He is on a buzzsaw. That is for sure. Rahm at 3 under. Cam Young at 3 under. Leader in the clubhouse, Scott Stallings, but Fred Couples might join him. Could fire a skinny little 70. How about that? Terrific stuff. Alrighty, Fulton. What do you got for your mic drop?
It's very simple. Royals, just give the fans something. Like, I know we're at this point already, which is so frustrating, but they have the potential, and I'm tired of having to talk about potential. Even I'm tired of it. And I'm going to keep believing in it because I can trying to see, you know, the forest through the trees and all that. But you got to give them something. Get hits today. Don't look inept. You're facing a very good pitcher in Kevin Gausman. It could go real bad today. But just have an approach. Be who you guys can be. Put a run on the damn board. You have 3 shutouts in 6 games. You can't have that. But just don't don't put the dumpster more on fire than it is.
I'm going to go with this. The Big 12 Big East Basketball Challenge, that's going to be awesome next year. UConn at KU, Villanova at Kansas State.
They're finally actually doing some good matchups.
That is terrific. It really, really is. I even think, what is it? Creighton at Oklahoma State. I wish that was a little bit better, but Texas at Marquette. That's
going to be
one.
Should be a doozy. Shaka Smart and Rodney Terry going at it.
Yeah, so I think that's fantastic. So that's good stuff. It really, really is. We got Royals baseball coming up at the bottom of the hour. Whenever you need a win, you just say Jordan Lyles. You got it.
I swear,
buddy.
Jordan Lyles gives up 1 run in 6 innings again. I'm going to lose my mind in the best way possible.
And they lose because
I will lose my mind then in the worst way possible.
That's what's going to end up happening. So 580 Sports Talk will follow Royals baseball. We'll talk to you tomorrow at noon here on Mic'd Up.